Hi, welcome back to Wall Street Confidential. I'm Deborah Borchardt. I'm here with Jim Cramer,
Deborah.
and today we're talking about covered bonds. So let's circle the covered bonds like the wagons.
Well, I mean, look, Paulson suggests that Bank of America embraces it immediately. Wells Fargo. How can they not? They just got a tremendous windfall from this housing bill where they can put, all they have to reduce their mortgages to 80% of their value and then sell them to the FHA, which is huge because maybe they're worth 50, 60. Certain vintages, the 2006, 7 vintages are so bad, particularly 2006, maybe not the second half of 2007. So they got that windfall. They can do whatever they want. This is not good if you want to buy a house.
With a covered bond, it's that issuer is going to retain
there's no
that
Fannie
asset,
Mae.
right?
Yeah, there's no Fannie Mae.
Okay.
Basically what happens is you dismantle Fannie Mae. You can issue bonds based on yours. I mean, frankly, this was like sending the bonds to Bear Stearns to be packaged, except for this time the recourse to you. And so there's only so much money that you might have. I don't know what the capital requirements will be. I don't think anybody really does. I mean, they probably set them, but they won't last. I mean, I want to go back to what this is really about, which is just a total dodge so we don't focus on how bad things are.
A distraction.
Yeah, well, I mean, what are we worried about? Covered bonds. I mean, let's save the banking system first. But if you pretend that the banking system isn't in trouble, then there's nothing to save. I mean, if you really believe that you should be focused on what the new plan is without dealing with what things are, then covered bonds are a great distraction. If you want to try to get a mortgage, obviously, if you set up covered bonds, you're not getting rid of them. Yeah. So the liability is going to stay with you. So I would be much less, I would be much more reluctant to give someone a mortgage because they actually have to pay it back.
You've really got to, you're taking on all that risk.
So so everything would be kind of like Hudson City, which does that, and it would be much more difficult to get a mortgage. And that's not what we need right now. What we need is make it really easy to get a mortgage so we can get out of the situation. Make it really easy to get a refinance so we can get out of the situation. We need to see housing stabilize. That's what the whole linchpin of the system is. This does nothing to stabilize
And right
housing.
now the rates have been going up.
Yeah.
And what's surrounding people getting mortgages have been tightened up so much.
Well, I mean, one of the reasons is because the Fed stopped cutting and because they're worried about inflation. Another is that Fannie Mae's viewed as questionable until this legislation's passed. We're in a real mess here, and covered bonds does not address the mess.
Now, do you think we're going to see more banks go under? We've seen a few,
many
and
banks.
Historically, they're saying we don't really have that many. We're not at that tipping point yet, like we had in the 80s crisis.
When you have 3% non-performers, that used to wipe you out. Now it looks like it's something like 3% is the new. You got to have 5%. But I would emphasize this, which is that if the government needs to come out and say we don't care how much, you have to understand your deposits are safe. And we'll back that up with any firepower. That's the first thing they should do. That's the building block for this system. Okay. Not to talk about covered bonds with European system without Fannie Mae and Freddie. Right. This is a sop to Congress saying, listen, we know that we're asking for a lot of money, Fannie and Freddie, but don't worry about it because soon our system will be covered bonds. And that's fine, but we got to sell homes. Unless we get house price depreciation off the page, then we're going to continue to have Merrill Lynch's. Where the valuation is incredibly low. Okay. And I just, I have very little faith that covered bonds are the answer to the current crisis.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Yeah. So
doesn't matter.
We're selling houses and not covered bonds here.
All right.
Stay tuned for more at thestreet.com TV.